Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to PPTV. And it's your boy, the Black Mamba. September the 12th, episode number 7. And 1 week is in the books, guys. First week of fantasy is down. I hope that a lot of you guys did better than I did, because on paper my team looked like a whoop stick, but on the field they were straight trash this week. I mean, I still like my team, but I knew after midway through the 4 o'clock games it was probably going to be an L for me. I just had some disappointing performances this week, and it's the first week of fantasy, so you can kind of expect that. I still like my team, but I'm hitting the waiver wire pretty hard this week, and I'll go over some of my waiver wire picks, or some of the targets that I have, and how much I'm gonna put on them, and to see if I can get them, and we'll go from there. But yeah, so let's jump right into it. Oh, before we get started, let's do a little housekeeping. Spike that like and subscribe, and share this with all your fantasy players out there. Okay, so my team was we were the worst team in the fantasy league this week. So not only did I lose, I scored the least amount of points. I only posted 66 points, I think. That was my point total, which was really bad. I had some disappointing performances, a la T. Higgins. He threw me up a goose egg. I didn't watch any of that game, so I don't know what happened. It just looks like the whole Cincinnati Bengal team as a whole had a disappointing performance. I didn't watch that. I was actually watching. I watched a lot of my Steelers get pummeled during those 1 o'clock games. That was a game I was kind of looking at, as well as Tennessee and the New Orleans game. That was actually a pretty good game. Yeah, so I put up 66.42, which got me the lowest point total in the league. We had a couple of guys here that threw up over. This was a pretty high scoring game, 142 to 130, and it seems like everybody else was pretty much around. We only had 3 teams over 100, so league wide it was a like a low scoring week. So that gives me hope. That makes me feel better about my week, knowing that there were other teams out there that seem to be struggling just as bad. But we got to get off the snide. I know it's just the first game of the week, but I got to get out there and shake things up a little bit. So I'm hitting the waiver wire pretty hard for the first week. Normally, during the season, my philosophy is if I win the first week and my team looks decent, I normally try to save my money until later on, till I see somebody I really want. But at this point, I lost the first game of the season. I don't have the luxury of being able to wait. So some of the key pickups for me, and if you guys are in need of running backs, I think these are some good key pickups for this week. So my number 1 pickup for the week is Kyren Williams. I saw that game. I saw a lot of that game, and he actually out carried Cam Akers, and he was averaging, I think it was 3.5 yards a game, or 5 yards a carry, whereas Cam Akers was averaging a little over a yard. So he was definitely the more impressive running back in that game. And I think going forward, he's going to at least continue to share most of the carries, get the bulk of the carries for that team. So he's number 1 on my list. Number 2 is Justice Hill. I have J.K. Dobbins, and it's unfortunate that he got hurt. I think he tore his Achilles. Feel bad for the guy. He worked really hard to get back, only to hurt his Achilles in the first game of the year. So I'm going out and I'm trying to get Justice Hill to replace him. I'm placing the $11 on Korean Williams, and I'm placing $9 on Justice. This is really not a real. If I don't get him, I won't be sad about it, because I don't know how much work Justice Hill is going to get, and they have Gus Edwards as he's been there for quite some time. I'm pretty sure they're going to share carries, as well as I wouldn't be surprised if they bring in some people to try out for the team. I think Melvin Gordon is on the team. You still have Leonard Fournette out there, so he's not a big. I gotta have him. If I get him, I'm good. If I don't get him, I'm good. I really want Korean Williams if I can get him at $11. My third pick to replace J.K. is Joshua Kelly with the Chargers. I saw that game, and that was probably the game of the week. That was a shootout, and he got quite a bit of work in this game. And I think Eckler may have got dinged up a little bit in this matchup as well. So not only do I think Joshua Kelly will get a little bit of burn during every game, but if Eckler just so happens to have the unfortunate of getting hurt, Joshua Kelly would definitely be a good handcuff to have. So I have him. I'm putting $6 in on him. And before I get to the receiver, another running back that I think would be a good pickup. He didn't play. He's been hurt before the season got started. But Zach Moss with the Colts, I think he would be a good addition if Jonathan Taylor doesn't come back, and he would be a good complement to AR, Anthony Richardson. So I have Zach Moss as a pickup for this week. I have $4 in. I don't think a lot of people will be looking to pick him up, being that he didn't play last week, but I think he's a good stash to have for when he does come back. I think he'll jump right into the lineup and kind of take over the number one back, at least until Jonathan Taylor comes back. And I watched this game, and I was surprised for two reasons: the Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. I was surprised for two reasons. The Rams, actually, the offense looked a lot better than I had given them credit for before the season. And Puka Naku was out there balling. He looked like Cooper Kupp 2.0. He got 15 targets during the game, and he had a stat line. I don't remember how many catches he had, but he had 119 yards. I was very impressed with this guy. He looked really good. Of course, they played the San Francisco 49ers this week. He probably won't do as well, but I think long term he will have a place in the offense to put numbers up, even when Cooper comes back. I also saw the Tennessee and New Orleans game, and Rashid Shaheed, he looked really good out there. He caught a touchdown pass. So I have those two guys in. I have bids in on those two guys. I don't feel like I need a receiver right now, but if I just so can, get one of those guys at $5, I feel like it's an upgrade from what I currently have. So those are two bids for receivers that I have in, as well as Kendrick Bourne with the New England Patriots. He actually looked really good. I was impressed with with him, and he had a good game. That offense, I'm still a little concerned about that offense. I don't know how much they'll be able to push the ball down the field, but I think he's going to be a solid receiver. I don't know if you'll consider him a number one, but he definitely would be like a solid number two. I think he'll get enough targets, and he'll produce enough to produce number two numbers. You never know in those Bill Belichick offenses how good they're going to be. And my defense, I told you in the beginning of the year, I like to do defenses by committee. I was at least hoping to hold on to these Vikings for a little while, but they were straight trash on Sunday, and I gotta get me another defense. So I have like 4 defenses lined up. And I know the Giants look just as much trash as the Vikings were, but I actually think they just got off to a bad start. And they are also playing the Arizona Cardinals, who their offense is dismal. So I like the Giants to bounce back this week, the defense to bounce back and have a decent game. So they're my number one pick. I'm putting a couple of dollars on them. The Indianapolis Colts, I didn't watch a whole lot of that game, but the defense looked really good. That game was actually a lot closer than it seemed with the Jaguars. The defense looked, they were out there holding their own. And I think the Colts are actually maybe the second best team in that division. People were saying that it was Jacksonville and Tennessee, but I actually think the Colts are somewhere in that mix too. My third defense, if I miss out on those first two, are the Cleveland Browns. They're playing my Pittsburgh Steelers on Monday night, and I was thoroughly disappointed in my boys from Pittsburgh. They had a bad game, and I'm hoping that was just an anomaly, but they could not move the ball at all. And they still have Matt Canada as the offensive coordinator, which I haven't been a big fan of his. The offense hasn't been good in some years. So Browns, they're my pick, my third pick. And if I just so happen to miss out on all 3 of those first 3 picks, I'm going with the Chargers. I know that they were in the shootout, but the Miami Dolphins offense is actually really good, and I don't think they'll have that issue this week in their game. So the Chargers is that's my last pick for defense. Hopefully I get one of those 4 teams. If not, I'll have to roll with Minnesota against the Philadelphia Eagles, who actually did not. They didn't look good to me, or they didn't look like I thought they would on the first week as well. But keep in mind that this was the first week, so it was almost like an extension of the preseason. So with that said, these are my pickups for this week in this league, which I'm 0-1. Actually, I'm the worst team in the league, but we will get better. I hope some of these picks are helpful to you guys. Oh, before I get out of here, I know that some of you guys are going to be looking for a quarterback since Rodgers got hurt in last night's game. Let's just kind of scroll through and see if there's anyone out here who I would take a chance on. And the short answer of this is not a whole lot. Out of these guys, well, actually, I would probably take a chance on Matthew Stafford. Looked really good. He would be the first guy off this list that I would pick up. Sam Howell, I would pick Sam Howell as my number 2, and Jimmy G. I would probably go with Jimmy G as the third option off of this list here that I'm looking at. But other than that, guys, that's all I got. Hey, and let's go out here and dominate for this next fantasy week in week 2. I hope you guys have a great week fantasy wise, and we'll come back and do this thing again. I'm in 3 leagues, so I'll just kind of go over one league that I'm in each week, just to kind of let you know who are guys you should be targeting to pick up. But with that said, go out and dominate. Don't forget to spike that like, comment, subscribe, share this with all your fantasy DJs. Black Mamba out.